Hello and welcome to the premiere of the hottest show in town, which is The Wrong Sort of Jew, which is premiering, as I say, tonight in Rotherhithe, and I'm here in the cafe area because it's far too dark outside, and I've got a lot of people to talk to before the play starts. So I'll just, if it's all right, would you be able to come with me? And I'll introduce you to some of the people who've arrived. It's Tony Greenstein's here. Hello, Tony. How are you doing?
Nice, Crispin. Fine.
How far have you come to get to here?
I've come over 70 miles.
And what did you want to come here for on the first night? What is it going to be? Do you think it's going to be a really remarkable occasion, this play?
Absolutely. There's all the wrong sort of Jew here. I couldn't possibly miss this.
Are you the wrong sort of Jew?
Well, absolutely. I was the first one to be expelled, from the Labour Party.
Well, I have heard that. I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, they all followed my example.
And there's quite a few other wrong sorts of Jews here tonight.
Jackie Walker is definitely wrong, doubly wrong, in fact.
Well, I'm going to go and talk to. We've got Jackie Walker and Leah Levain here. Hi, Leah. Good to see you. So, are you the wrong sort of Jew as well?
According to some people, but as far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as the wrong sort of Jew. You're either a Jew or you're not a Jew. So I'm a Jew. So there you go. I'm brought up Jewish, born Jewish, and I just happen not to agree with the mainstream leaders. I agree with the growing minority of Jewish people throughout the world who think that Israel's doing terrible things to the Palestinians.
And can I ask you, are you a basis of any of the characters in the play tonight?
I am. I don't know which one. I can't remember the name, but I'm on. There's lovely panels that have been created for all the people, or at least most of the people who were interviewed. So yeah, but I think I'm an amalgam character with some others, so I can't remember it. Who else? But yes, I am. Part of my interviews are featured.
And what would you like to happen from this play? What would you like to develop as a result of this play coming on here?
I would love to see the play being shown in many places so that people get the madness of what happened in Labour. The treatment of Jewish left-wing people is only one example of the terrible things that have happened in Labour. In my view, in the interest of the ruling class, to actually make sure that Jeremy Corbyn's ideas, left-wing people who support those ideas, which were popular with the general populace, and I think it was a big ruse to discredit. And it worked. We have to be honest, it worked. But I hope that by these sorts of dramatic and artistic, creative approaches, we might raise awareness more than the articles that we fail to get into newspapers. So that's my hope, that it actually gets put on in many, many places.
Oh, well, thank you, Leah. Now, Jackie, you've put a play on or two yourself, and you were saying you've put the play on here before as well. So, you obviously think this is a good way of getting the word out and giving people an idea of what's happened without just, like you say, writing articles. Can you tell us what happened when you put the play on?
Oh, well, when I put the play on, of course, very often I had people queuing outside trying to stop people get in. I had bomb threats. I had all sorts of threats against me. But of course, the interesting thing about that was, even when it happened at the Labour Party conference with a room full of Jews, not one national newspaper reported on it, even though there were police cars and sirens and they had to clear out the whole place. There wasn't one newspaper report on it. But I'm sure what's going to happen today after this is that the Royal Court Theatre are going to think we've got to have some balance, and to balance up Friedland's view on what a Jew is and what a Jew thinks, they're going to put on this, aren't they? For sure.
Of course they are.
Of course they are, because that's what you call balance.
Well, I think Jackie's being a little bit sarcastic there, but there is definitely a case that a lot of the theatres are not putting these plays on, and it took a lot of work to get this play put on at all. Do you know the background to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know how many venues they've tried or anything?
I don't know how many. I know they've tried quite a lot of venues, but I also know that they had to work very hard to just get this written. You know, anybody who puts on a play like this about this kind of thing has got to be properly committed, and the people here have been really committed to try and get the narrative into the public view.
Yeah, well, I'm going to. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Lee. I'm going to move on to some more people who've agreed to be interviewed. If we come through this kitchen, there's some bananas. Do you want to take those bananas? Will be off soon. Don't take a shot at the bananas. And if we come through here, Glyn's here. Hi, Glyn. We're just doing a premiere. This is the premiere of the Wrong Sort of Jew. We thought we'd speak to some of the people on the red carpet. So, can you tell us? Are you the basis of any characters in this production?
Yes, I think I am. Yes, I've certainly been interviewed, and yeah, I've been told I'm up there. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to seeing your character on there?
Well, I don't know. Yes, I'm a bit apprehensive actually. Yeah.
Will they be as good looking as you, the actor? You think?
This flattery will get you nowhere.
Well, and what do you think? What would you like? We're talking to Jackie and Leah. I mean, what would you like to come out of this actual production?
That's a very good question. Actually, what I'd really like is for it from here to be picked up and get into another theatre, maybe a West End Fringe theatre, and then maybe go around some of the reps around the country, so that the story gets told over and over again. That would be very good.
Yeah, that sounds quite an ambition. Yeah. Well, you never know; it might happen. I mean, some people want to win the lottery. Some people want to have a play on at the rep. But that's interesting. Look, I'll just show you. If you come through here, look, I'll just show you that we've got the stories of each of the characters in the play here. If we go around, this is Jenny Manson, who we've interviewed a lot on Not the Andrew Marr Show, and here's Stephen Soley, and look, it's Tony Booth here. Tony Booth's here. Who put this all together? How are you doing, Tony?
I'm great. Yeah, looking forward to this production. It's about to happen. After all this time, it's about to happen.
And this is incredible. You've got how many people's stories have you got on these?
There's 29 panels, and then Mike Howard with his wife Dee. That makes 30 people. Yeah.
Oh, and that's so these are all 29 of the wrong sort of Jew.
Yeah. They're the right sort of panel, made about the wrong sort of Jew. Yeah.
And is there any plan to put these out? Because they're really great stories, for life stories of all these people.
Yeah. We're not going to let it drop. I think that we can turn this into a really good book, and then it can raise money for the project, which happen over the next couple of months.
Are you on this as well?
I am. Yeah, I'm round the other side.
Okay.
I couldn't put myself at the front. I had to kind of hide myself away a bit.
I'd say you're not. So it doesn't look like you're putting. Yeah, I say that's good.
Full rank,
No. They think you were being a bit of showing off there. Yeah.
So I'm round the back.
So we'll have a look round the back. See who else is round there.
Okay.
So thanks, Tony.
Yeah.
Look, there's Naomi. Naomi's on there. And Naomi's here. Look. Come on. Look. There's Naomi there. And here's Naomi here.
Hello, Crispin. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Naomi. Now, you've come quite a long way to get here, haven't you? From North London.
North East London, yeah, miles. Actually, I got lost on the way and took the wrong train.
Well, you're coming south of the rivers. It's quite difficult, isn't it, when you're from up north? So, this is a great. Did you read all? Have you seen all these? Yeah.
By the party in various ways, or by defenders of Israel and opponents of Corbyn in many ways over recent years. And here we all are. So it's a strange rogues gallery, because we're all, as I think Michael Walker said on Novara Media recently, it's basically just nice old Jewish people. Some of them are young, but most of us are quite elderly, been around, been involved in lots of campaigns, and yet we find ourselves having to use this sort of platform to get across ideas that we've been pretty well prevented from uttering in any other forum. It's really a scandal. But it's a great artwork, will no doubt result. I haven't seen it yet, but
I mean, I was looking at the Ford video of on Labour Files, and there's footage of you being really shouted at in that demonstration. I mean, that's pretty unpleasant, the stuff that you've had thrown at you. I mean, how have you survived through all this?
Sounds awful, but because we knew we were right, really. I mean, we know we're not Jew haters, we know we're not anti-Semites, and we know what they were up to, trying to do this, trying to represent all Jews as being supporters of not only the state of Israel, but a particular political perspective in this country. There's a great credit to Ford, who you just mentioned, that he said not only are all black people not the same, and all Muslims not the same, all Jews are not the same. And different viewpoints deserve to be represented. And that's why we need to have projects like this.
And the other aspect of it is that this left-wing Jewish tradition has been around for a long time. Can you tell people about that?
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, because of being outcasts in Christian societies for generations, for centuries, because of seeing the way oppression affects broad swathes of a population, Jews have a natural affinity with people who are oppressed. I mean, that's why Jewish Voice for Labour has this slogan, always with the oppressed, never with the oppressor, which was coined by Marek Edelman, a heroic survivor of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising in 1943. It's where we ought to be in society. I mean, obviously there are, as Jews have been more assimilated in the UK and other societies in Europe, people have become more assimilated and more likely to reflect the broader population, I suppose. So you've got a lot of Tory Jews these days, is what I'm trying to say. So the idea that Jews naturally nowadays support Labour, and the fact that they've turned away from Labour is all the fault of that anti-Semite Jeremy Corbyn is rubbish. There's good political demographic reasons for that, but we have that long tradition and we're trying to be true to it.
And we've got Mike here. Mike, we're just talking about the history of left-wing Jewish people, and I know that you've got quite a bit to say on that, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, it's how, when I was younger, there were lots of Jews on the left, and we seem to be a declining quantity. As the community has become more bourgeoisified, further away from its roots as a migrant refugee community, feeling overly comfortable to be part of the English middle class.
Remain internationalists. That's an important part of our tradition, isn't it, Mike?
It's also the way Israel has assumed too great an importance in too many people's lives. It's very important in my life because I'm trying to oppose it, but too many people seem to have this imaginary sanctuary over there, where bizarrely they're more at risk there than they are in Britain. It's a different sort of risk, but they have.
You can begin to make your way.
Go on.
You can begin to make your way round to come into the theatre. You have to go out that door that you came in over here. Turn right again. Right again, work yourself way round the building, opposite the Mayflower pub, and go in that way.
Don't go in the pub, go in the theatre.
No, I just wanted to ask you, because how divisive has this been? Do you find yourself ostracised from other people, like other Jews, that because of what your stand is? Why isn't your view given any credence or power?
It's difficult for me. I've always been an outsider. I was brought up in West London, which doesn't have a large Jewish community, and I was Reform and not Orthodox, and my parents, one came from the West End, one came from Tottenham, so I have no East End roots. So I've always been an outsider. I've been an outsider in all sorts of ways through my life, but So ever since I'd finished my bar mitzvah and left the Shul Youth Club, I've not hung around an organised Jewish community. I mean, I've always been Jewish. I mean, I know who I am. I don't need them to tell me who I am.
How do you feel about this sort of divisiveness? I mean, it must be really painful for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite fortunate in the sense, a bit like Mike, I had a sort of very liberal upbringing, so wasn't obliged to, get involved with mainstream pro-Israel stuff. But and in my family, I've got lots of other radical cousins and so on. But there are one or two with whom it's formed a breach. It has created a breach with people who do have this loyalty to Israel, which is inexplicable to me. Well, it isn't inexplicable. I don't feel it the way that they do. And people do. And it's interesting that there's a bit of a breach opening up now between sort of liberal Jews who have taken on a form of Zionism which they claim is progressive. We've got an analysis which makes it very clear that it never has been. But they're now looking at the current state of the Israeli government and saying, we never expected it to be like this. There shouldn't be fascists in a democratic Jewish government, and we're not surprised, but they're very surprised, and this is now hopefully will give us the opportunity to have discussions with people who until recently didn't want to contemplate looking at Zionism and what it really entails.
What would you like to say about that?
Too many of them want to go back to occupation as normal. Yes. I mean, which is what we see on the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem as well. They are bitterly opposed to Ben Gvir and Smotrich and so on. Yeah, I mean, they have no time for them. What they want is a occupation that doesn't hit the headlines, that just goes on quietly in the background, stealing a bit of land here, a bit of land there, a bit of land there, demolishing a home there, without drawing attention to it. What they're horrified about is people like the far right in Israel have made it public. And that really is very dispiriting for them. And they always had this idea of a kinder, gentler Zionism, which doesn't exist. And you see, people like Friedland sort of writing, bitterly against what's going on in Israel now, having been one of the greatest cheerleaders for Israel. I mean, but not just him, many, many more of them. And they're sincere in hating what's going on now. But their analysis is this is a diametrical break from the past, whereas we argue it's the logical outcome of the past, that it always was. If you run an apartheid state, in the end you end up being a fascist. That's how it goes. I mean, what's going to be the outcome of what's going on now? I don't know. What worries me is that they do overthrow Netanyahu. I mean, back of Netanyahu is like being the back of Johnson, the back of Trump, obviously a good thing. But then they will claim it as an endorsement of their vision of this democratic Israel, rather than actually taking much deeper lessons from it. They'll claim it as a victory. And we will have to be very clear in how we develop the argument this isn't a victory.
Well, I mean, I know you need to go and take your seat because it's just about to start.
Are you coming in?
I hope to be able to come in if there's a seat left because I think it's sold out. But it is.
We're not sold out. We're keeping. You're calling us a sellout?
No, I don't mean you've sold out. I mean there aren't any seats left. But I think it's live streamed as well. So I think you might be able to watch it on a live stream if you go to the theatre's website, and you might find a link there. But I might have to stop this premiere transmission as I try and get my own way to the
carpet red, but we didn't quite manage.
Thank you for joining us on this historic day where we are at the premiere of The Wrong Sort of Jew.